Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel. Had a whole lot of service interruptions this morning. Let's do it like this, huh? And I tried to go live 2 or 3 times and it totally wasn't happening. I had all kinds of interruptions and I'm played down on it. So we're going to do something we haven't done in a long time. We're going to do an upload. So, welcome back to the channel. I already said that. I'm not sure. It's fucking early. I'm still drinking coffee. I have some disturbing topics to go over. I was going to name the video Waking Up to Bestiality. And by that I mean, people need to wake up to how prevalent this actually is. And that I woke up to a bunch of messages and videos about bestiality. And I wanted to share some of them with you because if I have to hear it all, so do you. And, this goes right along with all of the people marrying dogs, partnerships with their dogs, this kind of stuff. This shit drives me up the walls. If there's anything that really stunts my brain, they've been attacking people for a long time. So where them attacking people hurts me in a certain way, especially children, this whole thing with making love to them and all this bullshit, it falls on a whole different realm and spectrum of disgusting that I have trouble wrapping my head around. Now, we've done a previous video about this that was called Bestiality and Zoophilia. I usually explain the difference to you guys, but for anyone who's been watching my videos for a while now, you don't need me to explain this shit to you. You've heard me explain it a few times, so we're just going to jet on past that part. And I'm going to start out with an update, so when I name this video, I'll probably slightly alter the title from what it was previously going to be, so for any of you that actually seen me attempting to go live this morning, then you'll understand. Little heads up, my service is really fucked up because of the holidays. I think we need to think about this next year, and the fact that my live streams will be very random in the months of, the end of November and throughout December, because there are so many people in town, and our towers are not built to take that much service, okay? It's not a huge town. So that's what you get when you live in a tourist area that everybody wants to be in. So let's do a little update, and if I'm lucky, this will actually come up. It did not want to come up earlier. I figured it was a cell phone disruption. Okay. Alright, cool. We're in there. Slightly a disruption. Let's see what some of you guys... Alright, so I was talking to Chef this morning, and she's going to sleep, so she's going to watch the video later. I had some support and help this week, on these topics from Christian, T, let's see, who else? And this one, I believe, came from someone on the Facebook page. Oh, yes, Tony. And actually, Matthew as well was sharing this. And this is an update as of December 7th of 2021. And I wanted to keep everybody in the loop on this. It's so weird right now not doing the live video with the chat and looking down to talk to you guys and stuff, but we're just going to push on through. The important part is getting the content out there, so that's what I'm going to focus on. Boris Johnson abandoned Afghans at risk of murder by the Taliban so he could evacuate dogs. Okay, now we covered this. We actually even covered the BBC talk show where people were calling in and ripping Tom apart. I can't remember his last name right now, I apologize. For even mentioning that, dogs' lives aren't as valuable as human lives. And it was a shit show. And for any of you that haven't watched that video, I can't remember what the title was. Sorry, it's still early. But I remember the picture was a picture of Tom holding his head, and I put a caption across it that said, "They really are that crazy." Okay, so, let's get into this. Boris Johnson intervened to ensure that dogs from a rescue shelter were evacuated from Afghanistan in a direct trade-off with human lives, a former UK Foreign Office worker claimed. The claims were made by Raphael Marshall, a former desk officer in the Foreign Office, whose damning testimony to members of parliament about the UK's evacuation of Kabul in August was published this week. Around 100 dogs and 70 cats were brought to the UK in August on a charter flight from Kabul. They were previously in a shelter run by Nowzad, a charity founded by former Royal Marine Pen Farthing. That was part of the big part of the story, was this Pen Farthing asshole. Marshall said that the Prime Minister explicitly requested that the Foreign Office use considerable capacity to facilitate the transport of the animals to the UK. The move came despite the extremely limited capacity at the airport, where the UK was forced to reject requests from hundreds of vulnerable Afghans. Many were left behind despite the risk they would be killed by the Taliban, he said, including hundreds who worked with the British government. There was a lot of arguing about this, okay? People were saying, no, these were just citizens. No, they had to... They even, and I covered this before, they even left part of their own vet staff behind. Now, they tried to claim that these people were willing to do that. That also was shown to not be true. There was a direct trade-off between transporting Nowzad's animals and evacuating British nationals and Afghan evacuees, including Afghans who had served with British soldiers, Marshall said in evidence to the House of Commons Foreign Affairs Select Committee. This is because soldiers tasked with escorting the dogs through the crowd and into the airport would by definition have otherwise been deployed to support the evacuation of British nationals or Afghans prioritized for evacuation, notably by helping families out of the dangerous crowd in the airport, into the airport. Marshall estimated that between 75,000 and 150,000 people applied to the UK Foreign Office for evacuation from Kabul. He said he believed around 5% were successfully evacuated. Nowzad's staff were later also evacuated from Kabul, which Marshall said was a breach of UK policy. He said that the workers were not at significant risk, but said other others whose applications ultimately were rejected were at risk of murder. Farthing denied that he received help from the British government to support the organization of the charter plane, which was paid for by supporters of the charity. Let's make this bloody crystal clear and on the record. Not one single British soldier was used to get me or the Nowzad dogs and cats into the Kabul airport, he had written on Twitter. The whistleblower lied to the Parliament. Nowzad supporters paid for the cargo flight, not the useless British government. Those are his words. A Downing Street spokesman on Tuesday called Marshall's claims entirely untrue, and Marshall's the whistleblower. The PM did not instruct officials to take any particular course of action on that issue. The spokesperson denied that Johnson had instructed Foreign Office ministers at all and said, "We've been clear on this throughout. The PM's focus was on saving and evacuating as many people as possible. That was the instruction he gave the whole of government, and that's why we evacuated 15,000 individuals and over 2,000 subsequently." Okay? Just wanted to keep everybody in the loop on that one. Important stuff. All right. And we're going to talk about one or two more things before I hop into some of this bestiality. I'm going to make it a mixed bag upload. And hopefully you guys are happy to see an upload. I've been meaning to do one for a long time. All right. This one come from Moni Tony, and it's very important stuff. And I only mention his name now because I did not mention him in the beginning. So, people that donate for humans, and it goes for dogs. We had covered part of this in the Red Cross. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cover the next part of it. Okay? With the donations, will the donations feed, groom, and pay the very expensive veterinarian care for these dogs? These dogs need grooming and vaccines and have to go to hospitals. I'm pretty sure it costs more to feed a therapy dog in the USA than it costs to feed a child in Africa. Okay? Oh, so here's the second part of what he sent me. And there were a couple articles, the one being the Red Cross. This one's going to hop into a therapy dog situation. And personally, I find all this very disturbing. Some of you didn't know any of this when we were on the live stream the other day. And you were like, oh, well, I've been donating to this or that for a long time, thinking that I'm helping humans. I didn't realize I was helping a whole bunch of fucking dogs. Well, you have to really, really research the charities that you choose to donate to. And as I said on the last live stream, you know, if you want to help someone, there are people in your own area who need your help. There are friends, a family. Find someone who truly needs you. We've had a lot of people help donate to my son and I recently as we had lost our roommate. And I'd like to say there was an anonymous person, there was T, there was Matthew, Shamina, Chef, Beanie. Just so many people, and even when they were small or large, goes to help us, and we are so appreciative. And we're not the only ones. We've got other group members that are suffering, you know, so I can't wait to go back to live chats because I was really enjoying doing polls, and I had a great poll idea today, and now I can't do it. Alliance of Therapy Dogs, alright? They're an international registry of certified therapy dogs, okay? We do not rely on fundraising to succeed. No one you see in action, nor our testers are paid, nor can they charge any fees. Even our board of directors is made up of volunteers. Our only paid employees are our office staff, okay? So I love how they, you know, push, oh, hey, you know, just remember you got to donate. And these foundations, like the Alliance of Therapy Dogs, are tied in with other organizations, such as the Red Cross. So, like I said, really, really look into where your dollars are going, because for all you know, a large percentage of them are going to line the pockets of someone else or to feed some shitty-ass dog, okay? Their therapy dogs are in many settings, including but not limited to airports, nursing home, assisted living facilities, rehab facilities, mental health institutions, schools, hospitals, cancer centers, mental health institutions, patients' homes. It's fucking disgusting. Registration is very affordable for $30 a year plus an initial one-time $10 member fee. A team can be registered with ATD and covered by our insurance in order to share in the mission of sharing smiles and joy with their dog. Oh, these people. And so they want you to be a member, they want you to visit, they want you to join. And this is how easy they make this bullshit, okay? To jump right in and to make your dog a therapy dog. And it's fucking outrageous. So please, I implore everyone, really, really, really look into where your dollars are going. Very important. All right, let's get into our main topic for today. And I'm not going to do a comedy or anything since we're not doing a live chat. I'm just going to give you all the raw info. I don't have to watch your sad and disgusted remarks, so I don't feel a dire need to make you feel better. You got to do that for yourself today, you dorks. Okay, I've got a couple articles on this, so we're just going to hop right into it. And it's, you know, this is, like I said, this is a lot more prevalent than what people realize that it is. And it's, quite disgusting, if you ask me. So, these are just a few groups. We're going to cover a couple articles, and I also have a couple of groups that actually physically get involved. So let me pull those up on the phone right now so I can show them to you. Okay, so let's go into this. Ah, I saved some of the pictures. That's right. I'm like, I know I have them around here somewhere. All right. Here, let me go into my camera so I can make sure that I'm looking at you correctly. Here are one of their disgusting logos, okay? Here's one of them, Zeta North America. Here are one of their symbols, okay? These people, just like any other strange secret society, they use symbols and handshakes, and IHD was talking about this, and so I'm going to shadow what he said because I was in total agreement with him. They use a lot of signaling, and I think a lot of this therapy dog thing, like I just read the article, it's why I read it along with the foundations to tie everything together. They get therapy dog status so they can take their partner with them everywhere they go. such as how they describe here as them being like family members is the way they want to look at it. I wake up and I don't think about being zoo. I roll over and kiss my husband. I kiss my non-human husband and his sister. I make breakfast for us, and I love on them. We watch TV together. It's just a normal life with love and contentment. Zoophile, love is love. Okay? Guys. And there's a couple more of these. Let me pull another one up. Oh, bruh. It's also disgusting. It really is. One second. I had it. It was right here. So many stories, though, that you get kind of lost in it. Okay? It's, here are... I don't want to go into it. Well, no, don't take me to the article. Waking up with your partner in your arms, furiously wagging as you first open your eyes is such an incredible feeling. True, uninhibited, mutual love. Being zoo often isn't easy, but this unique bond afforded exclusively to us makes it all so worthwhile. And there are just non-stop groups of these things. Okay? I want to show you the link that I was about to accidentally open that had me horrified. Ugh, God. It's just... It's a lot to take in. I'm covering up the name. Okay? There's a lot of them. Alright? Oh. Let's bounce into this. This is from the Human Rescue Alliance, and they're saying the horrific truth about animal sexual abuse. Our work is full of joy and heartbreak. We see the best of what people and animals do for one another, but unfortunately we sometimes have a front row seat for the worst. Last week we responded to a report of an abandoned and injured puppy near Fort DuPont Park. When our animal control officer arrived on the scene, he found a sweet brindle puppy laying on the side of the road, discarded like a piece of trash. On closer inspection, he saw numerous wounds on her body and realized that she was unable to use her back legs. Despite her terrible condition, she wagged her tail. They do that when they attack, when they die. I'm so sick of hearing that crap. They named the stupid fucking dog. And they found that she had 5 broken vertebrae, 2 stab wounds, dislocated hip, and worst of all, we discovered injuries that indicated that she was brutally sexually abused and was likely strangled. We believe the abuse occurred over a period of weeks because the injuries are healing in various stages. Stop and think about that. They're talking about its junk. Given that the dog is about 7 months old, this means she's endured a lot of abuse in her very short life. Okay? Dog's expected to walk again, and the Hospital for Animals generously offered to cover the cost of her care, which exceeded $20,000. I just want to stop and say, we have children out there who have been abused and assaulted, and nobody gives a fuck. They end up in a foster care home with all kinds of long-term mental damage and receive no help. Nobody wants to help. This is kind of like with the GoFundMe for Rosie, or the one that we did. I have a friend who is needing help, and I'm like, once again, like I've been saying, too bad we're not all Alaskan Malamutes. You know, because then we would be fine. They launched an aggressive investigation to find the person responsible for the abuse. It's urgent because whomever did this to the dog is capable of violence to other animals. Animal sexual abuse is more than a horrible act of animal cruelty. It's an important and critical indicator of potential issues of human interpersonal violence and sexual predation. There are especially strong indicators of a link between sexual abuse of animals and of people, especially in children. I like how they say that because they don't give a fuck about children. Okay? A 2008 study of 44,000 adult men evaluated for sexual misconduct found that bestiality abuse was the largest single risk factor and the strongest predictor of increased risk to commit sexual abuse against children. These people don't give a fuck about kids. I want to say it again. How many children can they help with 20,000? And while I'm reading this, they're popping up little things to the side of the screen Donate, donate, donate. Although we've been advocating for years to outlaw bestiality, the District of Columbia has the unfortunate distinction of being in line with only 4 states in the country, Hawaii, New Mexico, West Virginia, and Wyoming, that still have no law in the books prohibiting sexual contact between people and animals. Laws that explicitly prohibit bestiality are necessary despite existing prohibitions against aggravated animal cruelty because of the very disturbing forms this type of abuse can manifest. All animal sexual abuse is predatory, cruel, and non-consensual and must be outlawed. This isn't the first animal we've cared for that has been sexually abused, and she won't be the last. The prevalence of bestiality is much more common than most people are aware of. We know there are sick underground networks of online communities that exist to support and connect those with a common interest in this horrific practice. One popular online site, which thankfully had been shut down, boasted a membership of over 1 million users and featured tutorials and networking opportunity for sharing abused animals. Okay. I encourage anyone who works around animals, veterinarians, groomers to, excuse me, I lost my spot. Familiarize themselves with signs of bestiality. Okay. Just fucking. I keep forgetting I'm not on live stream. It's a trip. I'm all. Okay. Here we go. Here's another article related. And I'm skimming through these, and then we'll cover a couple other things. This is from the Animal Rescue League of Boston. Animal cruelty takes many forms. Animals can be subject to physical abuse, neglect, or suffer from hoarding situations. The acts of abuse can be intentional, negligent, or recklessly inflicted. Okay? Animal sexual abuse, although less frequently mentioned than other types of abuse and behavior, has increasingly been the subject of veterinary science as well as criminology. Animal sex abuse can involve a distressingly wide range of animals and can result in a wide spectrum of injury, including death. As with many subjects which are difficult to discuss, there may be little opportunity to confront or correct misinformation, such as the notion that sexual abuse occurs solely on farms and involves animals that are large enough not to be injured. It's difficult to quantify the number of victims because the victims cannot report it. Physical injury may not even be present, or the injuries, because they are seen less infrequently, may be attributed to something other than sexual abuse. In addition, the acts committed directly by the perpetrator, animal sexual abuse, may involve a person aiding and abetting another to abuse an animal, such as providing their own animal to another for abuse. There may be photographs or videotapes made for further dissemination. Finally, the acts may be part of a larger circle of abuse, the abuse to animal being used to coerce and intimidate human victims of abuse in order to gain their silence. Currently, they have a legal number here that I'm not going to spit out at you. It's generally considered to be the criminal statute addressing animal sexual abuse. Okay, the language of its MGLC 272834 is archaic, still using some of the language of the original sodomy statute enacted in 1672. The crime is defined as abominable and detestable crime against nature, which is more likely than not unconstitutionally vague and therefore unenforceable. Okay? Although it's possible that prohibitions under MGL, there's 2 of them, could be applied to some crimes involving sexual abuse of an animal, the fact remains that no statute currently and specifically defines animal sexual abuse. Okay? The ARL, the Animal Rescue League of Boston, believes animal abuse is poorly understood by law enforcement, social agencies, and veterinarians. The crimes cannot be properly investigated by law enforcement. They can be properly detected through forensic veterinary examinations or are properly addressed by prosecutors and the courts. If discussion of the crimes is avoided and the definitions are shrouded in vague and confusing language, the laws in Massachusetts need a specific legally enforceable standard. Okay? So, the Animal League of Boston is setting themselves up and trying to come up with ways to battle, okay? Alrighty. I'm not happy about this, but now I have to open it. zoocommunity.org. Now we're into an open forum for zoosexuals and their allies. And now I'm on a watch list. It's pretty easy to go look at my channel and see that I'm not into this. Okay, so this zoocommunity.org, and the first thing they say, which we know is a disclaimer, please note, Zoo Community does not host any sexually explicit content. It's a place for discussion, debate, help, and emotional support in regards to an attraction to non-human animals, also known as zoosexuality or zoophilia. And now I have to say the difference, because zoosexuality and zoophilia means that you have an interest. Bestiality is when you actually commit the crime, okay? These people are fucking sick. So, here's some of the comments that had popped up as of very recent. You know where I'm from, AWOO is one of the little terms they use, carries a $350 fine, alright? What is AWOO and why is it so expensive? God forbid we create another cryptocurrency. So that's part of how they pay each other to do this, so it's not traceable, okay? AWOO is just the sound of howling, okay? Saris is joking that it's being punishable by a fine and says that Mike is addicted to howling. I don't know when or how the joke started, but it seems to be a running thing. Okay, so some of the names of the chats here. Zoosexuality Talk. It's the main forum to talk about zoosexuality, discussion of zoo positivity, experiences, and opinions, with 82 threads and 1,305 posts. They have health and education, advice, help, guides, and support on everything related to human and non-human health, well-being, and safety, with 31 threads and 236 posts. Overlapping communities, and by that they mean you can find it. They say, zoosexuals are everywhere. Let's talk about topics that are often enjoyed by zoos. Furry fandom. So right there, they just tied the two in. They always try to say it's not, but it is, okay? Otherkin. This is another thing that's been taking over, and there's a dude that I'm sure some of you have seen as well, Rob Gavigan, and he was the first person I've seen talking about these kin, okay, where they believe that they are certain animals. They identify as being a cheetah. They identify as being a German shittard. And then they use this to basically say, like, hey, no, I can have sex with this dog because I identify as a dog. And if you put me down for this or shame me, then you are, they like to use the term racist, which is totally not applicable to this. These people are so mentally unstable, okay? They even some of them practice veganism, and that's not to lump everybody together, with 22 threads and 261 posts. They have information and resources, community, media, and your articles. This forum allows zoo community creators of educational or informative content to show off their work. Your articles, podcasts, videos, magazines, essays. And content here needs to be posted by the content creator or representative. They also have games. Okay? Pictures, story, and media with 28 threads and 397 posts. And this is a new channel, I assume. They're going to have to constantly get shut down and then create new communities. So the board statistics, the forum statistics, chatting at 5,997, okay? And I'm not sure if this is at the moment or what the situation is, because I've seen a part about there being millions of members, but there are 1,176 right now, which I'm assuming is active members at the moment, okay? And in their archive, see, yeah, they just shut me out of it. View today's post. View new posts. Go to the forum. And now we're going to get out of this bitch before I throw up. Let's hop into something else people don't want to talk about. Especially not on that forum. But it says they talk about health and well-being of everyone. Someone kill me now. Health effects of sexual intercourse with animals. This comes from Public Health of Nigeria. When you say bestiality, You can hear the word beast, which is a good clue to the meaning. People who are into bestiality like having sex with animals. It doesn't matter what animal is involved. If someone is having sex with something alive that's not a person, it's bestiality. Bestiality is illegal and usually considered very wrong and harmful to everyone involved. Zoophilia and bestiality are considered a taboo subject in modern society, yet the reported prevalence rates range from 8.3% to 4.9% for men and 3.6% to 1.9% for women in normal populations. Astoundingly enough, bestiality remained punishable by death throughout the early modern period, with Sweden executing up to 700 people between 1635 and 1778, along with non-humans involved, in the last known hanging for bestiality in the United States carried out by order of the Connecticut Superior Court in January of 1800. The health risks and side effects of coitus with an animal include the transmission of zoonotic diseases. Zoonosis refers to diseases that can be passed from animals to humans. They are sometimes called zoonotic diseases. Animals can carry harmful germs such as bacteria, fungi, parasites, and viruses. These are then shared with humans and cause illness. Zoonotic diseases range from mild to severe, and some can even be fatal. These include leptospirosis, a bacterial disease spread through the urine of infected animals. Any contact with sexual organs of dogs, cattle, pig, horses, and sheep can transmit this bacterial disease to humans. Leptospirosis can cause meningitis, which leads to death in about 10% of the cases. Echinococcosis, okay? I'm not sure if I said that properly. It's a parasitic disease of tapeworms. The two main types are echinococcosis. I had this yesterday, I apologize. Less common forms include polycystic and unicystic, okay? The disease often starts out without symptoms, and this may last for years. Parasitic worms from the feces of dogs, cats, and sheep can cause this disease. The worms cause cysts in the lungs, liver, brain, spleen, heart, and kidneys. This disease can be fatal. Rabies is an infectious viral disease that is almost always fatal following the onset of clinical symptoms in up to 99% of cases. Domestic dogs are responsible for rabies virus transmission to humans. Rabies is transmitted from the saliva of cats, dogs, and horses. This is a viral infection which affects the central nervous system and is almost always fatal if not treated soon after exposure. Then there's penile cancer. It's a disease in which malignant cancer cells form in the tissue of the penis. Penile cancer is usually found on the glands or foreskin of the penis, but can also occur on the shaft. Sex with animals can cause microtrauma to the penile tissue, which could come in contact with animal secretions that are potentially harmful to humans. According to a study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, sexual contact with animals, SCA, is also a risk factor for urological diseases among humans. In a study of 118 penile cancer patients, 44.9% of patients have reported SCA, leading to a conclusion that sex with animals is a risk factor for penile cancer and may be associated with venereal disease. So almost 50% of that 118 admitted to SCA, sexual contact with animals. There's a high risk of injury. There's also, with large animals such as horses, the organs of the animals in most instances don't even match the anatomy of human sexual organs. For instance, the male organs of an aroused dog has a large bulb at the base that can injure the vagina. Horses, on the other hand, can thrust suddenly and cause their organs considerably widen, which is risky. Large animals can simply crush a person violently without warning. Okay? The most frequent cause of death and serious injury for mounted and dismounted horse activities is head injury. I mean, the horse kick you in the fucking head because it doesn't want you touching it there. Approximately 60% of all equestrian deaths and 18% of equestrian injuries. Okay? There was a man, Kenneth Pinion, in 2005, a resident of Unclaw, Washington, died from internal injuries after engaging in sex with a horse after receiving anal sex from a stallion which was being videotaped by his friend. The very large penis of the horse perforated his colon, which eventually led to his death. In 2002, a 62-year-old farmer in Bulgaria was treated for a ruptured rectum after he had sex with a male pig. And in Zimbabwe, another man suffered a heart attack after sex with a pig and died a few days later. There are allergic reactions because, as we covered briefly, these our eggs and their sperm are not supposed to mix. You can actually even become impregnated by a dog, as we covered in a previous video. But nature automatically aborts this creation. Thank goodness. Allergic reaction occurs when the cells in the immune system interpret a foreign substance or allergen as harmful. The immune system overreacts to these allergens and produces histamine, which is a chemical that causes allergy symptoms. A semen allergy, otherwise known as human seminal plasma hypersensitivity, HSP, is an allergic reaction to the proteins that are found in sperm. Serious allergic reactions to foreign material like animal semen may also occur because the body recognizes animal semen as a foreign body and therefore provokes a reaction to get rid of it. That's what a normal body does. A 43-year-old woman in Ireland died from a severe allergic reaction after having sexual intercourse with a dog. Autopsy reports indicate that she died of anaphylaxis, a severe allergic reaction similar to those caused by peanut allergies. The incident occurred in October of 2008. Medical experts are just now releasing the details of her death. The mother of 4 met Sean McDonnell in a bestiality chat room and then made arrangements to meet him in his home, where he forced his German shit-tard dog to have sex with her. She suffered an allergic reaction, presumably from the dog's semen, and died later at the hospital. There's a little bit of info for you. And looking here to make sure that I actually covered all of this. I did. Oh, boy. So, yeah. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Disturbing stuff. I'm going to keep the uploads to a reasonable amount and try to keep them related in topic versus the chats, the live streams, where I kind of just cover all the news. And so here's what's up for those of you watching the video now. I'm going to try and do tomorrow morning's live stream really early so that we can actually live stream. If I cannot live stream, I will be uploading, and so unfortunately, that'll leave it. So please remember to like the video. Please remember to like the video. My phone just started ringing, and it was someone I wasn't expecting to hear from. Like the video and help the algorithm and get it out there. Even if this is a disturbing topic and it's hard to like a video like this. Please share if you can. I know it's a weird thing to ask. It's not like people want to share videos like this. Let's see. Oh, yeah, please send me your emails. Poll questions. I would like some poll questions. Polls are fun. Are there things you would like to know from your community members? Sometimes we just post a question in the chat, but you don't really get answers, right? Because everybody's focusing on what I'm saying or some other previous conversation they were having. If you want to contribute and help with poll conversations, that would be great. I can use all the help I can get with great poll questions. And if you want to stay anonymous, you can. And just remember, when you answer poll questions, they are completely anonymous. I can't see who's answering. No one else in the chat can see who's answering. It's completely anonymous. Let's see. Fuck Fluffy, right? And until next time, I appreciate you all. Steer clear of all these dog weirdos because they're doing all kinds of things that we can't even wrap our heads around or fathom. It's disgusting. And even if they are not committing to actual sex acts with them, they are rubbing all over them and touching them. And there are buttholes and dicks and junk all over everything. It just steer clear of these people as much as you can. Some of you have no choice, and I totally understand that. So until next time, I appreciate you all, and I'll see you on the next video.